Dave Repson, Gerry DiNardo, Howard Griffith, continuing our tour of the Big Ten. We are in Piscataway today. We got a chance to see the Rutgers Scarlet Knights in action. And guys, one of the really neat things to see was Jerry Kill, offensive coordinator, back here after taking a year off. Of course, we know he had to leave Minnesota due to health issues, has gotten himself healthy, and now he takes over an offense that needs a lot of help. So I want to go through some of the new coordinator hires in the Big Ten. We will start with him. What does Jerry Kill bring to Rutgers?
Different style. He's going to slow the game down some. I think the gap scheme where you have a double team on the front side and you pull a backside guard or tackle, zone scheme, all are helpful to their offensive line, which is good, but they will welcome the help. And I think a lot of experience for Chris Ash when Chris wants to bounce something off someone who's been a head coach for a long time.
And on the offensive side of the football
right,
as well.
Right.
Remembering Chris Ash, defensive coordinator all his life, and really now has a guy that he can really lean on for game management situations if he needs to. But it's about, for me, when you talk about Jerry Kill, it's about a toughness. Right, it's an attitude. And when you talk about Rutgers football, it's toughness and an attitude. So to me, they mesh very well. They're going to get tougher and better up front at the line of scrimmage. They're going to control football games, and that's what they're going to do. You can go back to when he was at Minnesota. We would sit there and, okay, they only threw it 6-7 times, and they were still winning games. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here, but we do know that he wants to run the ball and be effective doing it.
Right. Jerry Kill understands that to win a game, you just need one more point than the other team has, and he will figure out a way to get that in whatever way he can. And I think the point you make, too, Howard, of being a head coach. I mean, this is the first time he's been an assistant since 1993, guys. So he has this wealth of knowledge and experience, not just of being a head coach, but of being a head coach in rebuilding situations. So it helps them on a lot of fronts. Really different situation in Columbus, obviously, with Kevin Wilson, but that's another high-profile offensive coordinator hire. What does he bring there?
Well, he brings a veteran play caller. And I think we've talked about this on the bus, that Urban Meyer has not had that while he's been at Ohio State. So he brings a guy, Kevin Wilson, that they really can control the game. I think you're going to look to see more of a vertical passing game, although we must say that when we were there, we didn't necessarily see that. I think they have to continue to get better in the passing game because they admitted last year that's probably the thing that held them back. They didn't pass the ball as well as they need to, so they're going to need to improve that. And one thing we know about Kevin Wilson, when it comes to offense, he can move the football around, but the quarterback has to make great decisions.
Yeah, I think he's going to get help with the pass game of Ryan Day, who's also a pass game coordinator, I think is his official title, coaching the quarterbacks. But, you know, Kevin's expertise is in the run game. You know, when he was at Indiana, people from all over the country, coaches would come to Bloomington to try to pick his brain and learn some different run schemes. And you look at his record, offensive linemen that are in the NFL, running backs that are in the NFL. So I think he makes a significant impact on Ohio State's run game. Ryan Day makes an impact in the pass game. And, you know, Kevin is the first veteran offensive coordinator, to your point about a play call, that Urban has ever hired. He's always hired young guys and that maybe weren't play calls or had never worked with them. So I think he brings more experience than any coordinator Urban's ever hired.
To me, what's interesting, if you look at the philosophy there versus, let's say, at Wisconsin with a new defensive coordinator in Jim Leonhard, at Iowa, a new offensive coordinator in Brian Ferentz, the difference between going outside the program and staying inside the program. What do you think of the different philosophies there and kind of contrasting it to those changes that Iowa and Wisconsin made?
Yeah, they're more plug-in guys. First of all, you know, Brian and Jim are both young coaches in coordinator standards. So use Kevin Wilson as an example, new ideas perhaps. You look at Brian at Iowa, they're pretty much going to be the same as they've been at Iowa. We're not going to see a drastic change. Jim Leonhard taking over for two really good defensive coordinators that he's following, I wouldn't think he's going to change much. So I would say it's drastically different than some of the other examples, Jerry Kill, Kevin Wilson.
Yeah, but I think when you talk about a guy like Jim Leonhard, you know, really a very young coach, 1 year. Now all of a sudden,
second year as a coach,
all of a
he's a
sudden
coordinator,
he's a coordinator. Right? But one of the things that they made a huge jump with last year was the secondary play. They had never seen the secondary play like that in a lot of years. And he has a great understanding of how to play in the secondary because of his great career collegiately and also in the pros. The guys really tap into him and really understand the communication between the two are really good. So I expect that to continue as the defensive coordinator as well. So they're going to be fun to watch because guys believe in him and they want to play hard for him.
Yeah, a ton of credibility, no doubt about it, given the fact that he was part of that program. I think the youth really helps in terms of connecting with players, but also, of course, a really good college and pro career. Plenty more insights throughout the tour. Keep it on all of the BTN social media sites. We will see you from Penn State next.